people like suspense. People like to be surprised. People like a show. All right, so I'm like, okay, how can I reveal these coats and these suits, in my apartment, right? I'm not in the studio or anything, and make it entertaining and all of those things. So I got, a bodice form, right? Put the coat on it or the suit. And I said, okay, but it has to be a reveal element too.
Exactly.
So I said, okay, so I have all these photography backdrops. So I said, okay, I'm gonna throw something off it, and when I reveal it, I'm gonna take the cover off.
Yeah.
And then you see it, and then talk about it, and it just took off.
Incredible.
And people looked forward to the reveals, and I'm all about, okay, what's next? How am I going to elevate it? Right? It doesn't mean totally change the formula.
Right.
But just like new seasons of anything, right? How are you gonna make it better? So then I'm like, okay, enough with the bodice form in the cloth, because I would have to do multiple takes because the cloth would knock the bodice form on the floor.
Right.
And all
Exactly.
all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, how can we go about it and make it seem as if I'm in a different place and all of that stuff. And then that's when I started doing the green screen kind of, this summer. I was like, okay, I'm gonna still do the reveal. I'm gonna incorporate the technology and the way that people are creating content now. Right? With the changing of the clothes and stuff. So it's no more pulling off the sheet and the bodice form falls and this and that and the other. Now it's just gonna be with editing, right?
Exactly.
I'm here,
exactly.
And then boom, here's the reveal. But same way of talking about the products and all of that stuff. And it's definitely one of my favorite things to do. Not only that, it is one of the favorite things. People come here specifically asking for their reveal.
Exactly.
Am I going to get the reveal? I want to be on the I want that. That is one of the things that drew me to you. I want that. So it's all about those little things that other people don't offer. Right? Because it's not like people don't show their clients, right? They show them in a picture,
absolutely,
right, at the event, or get it fitted or whatever, but they don't necessarily show praise of the client,
right,
and making that person feel special,
right,
and like the man. And that's where I come in with it.
And it's funny that you say that, because the people who get the best effect from that are people who do hair. People who do hair can do that grand presentation after it's done, when they wheel them around through the mirror.
Right.
But you're able to do that with clothing.
Right.
Now, what I want to ask you about, Robert, and man, this has been, I just really appreciate the time you gave me today. I've learned so much from you in the little time that we got to speak. I want you to tell me what fall is going to look like.
Listen. So what I wanted to do with, right now I'm watching The Crown.
Right.
I am all about suits from the 40s,
right,
and the 50s,
right,
and that time. Even though the shape of it was different, right? The
exactly,
fit of it was different, but those fundamentals in terms of design are there.
Absolutely.
And they are timeless.
They sure are.
And I love that. And when I was thinking about the fall winter collection, all I was thinking about was The Crown. I was thinking about Peaky Blinders. I was thinking about all of these shows, because when I was a kid, it was just like I would watch all these shows with men dressed up, right? Or rich people or whatever. It was like, wow, like look how they look. They look so important. So really, my thought behind fall winter is heavy tweeds.
Right.
Primary colors, blue, green, gray, right? Everything it being a proper collection, right? So this is the first time since I've started the business thanks to COVID, that I've had time to sit down and be super thoughtful about every single piece and detail of the collection, right? And really, if you were to buy the whole collection, right? 5 suits, 5 coats, 5 shirts, 5 ties, 5 pocket squares, 5 pairs of shoes, you have unlimited outfits.
That's right.
You have unlimited looks. And what people will see is what I mean by that. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually see how I take all of these different suits and coats and shirts and ties and pocket squares and shoes and style looks for them.
Right.
And yeah, I'm so excited about it. And I think that people are going to be, because it's classic Welthe guy, but then also got that flavor that I always add in
That's
there.
right.
Where it's not so stiff and it's fun, you know?
That's right. That's
so
right.
it has that, plus with a few new, you know, little twists, but everything is very debonair, everything is very Welthe guy, and everything is a nod to that time.
Exactly.
Where people wore the double-breasteds and, you know, the different styles of shirts and different knots of ties and just, yeah, like it was just such a different time.
Exactly.
And, you know, I really wanted to take that time, but put it into 2020 and give everything kind of like a modern feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, when I spoke to you on the phone, you said something that really hit home for me about how you watched old movies, because that was myself. I watched old movies from the beginning of the last century.
Right.
And I was like, who are making these clothes? So I always watch the credits.
Right.
And the people who I love in the clothes making, the people who did the wardrobe design, there were 2 people that I gravitated to, and one is, he's called by his first name, Adrian.
Yep.
And he was a fashion designer from the beginning of the last century. Right. And another one was Ori Kelly.
Yep.
And what those 2 designers showed me in 2020 is that basically shoulder heads really haven't changed in over 100 years.
Right.
And for you to speak about bringing a lot of that traditional style back and put the 2020 flavor on it,
right,
I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk a little bit about that, the fall, and how your business practices it will change or has changed, yep, and what that's going to look like going into fall and possibly into 2021.
Oh yeah, so definitely it's going to be more virtual in terms of people who want to have an experience with me and get a product from me but aren't here, but even improve the process from what it is now, right? So now we get on Zoom, right? We talk about the details, right? You might have your wife or someone there to help with the measurements, but now there's apps that do measurements, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There are so many ways to get the information that you need and the accuracy that you need without being in front of the person. So I'm excited about that. There's going to be more of that, and this. When I first started doing when I first started the business and I was doing the coats, I was doing actual investing money in shows.
Right.
So I had a show in Atlanta. I had one during Fashion Week. I got invited to Chicago to show the coats. But for me, I said, this is going to go away at some point.
Right.
Even before this happened, I said, there are too many direct-to-consumer lines.
Right.
Where you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a fashion show to show that process is a little antiquated now. Yeah. Because of the way that things are. So I'm like, people are always like, are you gonna have a show? And I'm like, no, why am I gonna spend all of that money for a few people to be able to see it in person, and then everyone else see the pictures. I'm gonna just show you the pictures.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You know, I would just show you the pictures. You don't need that other part. So definitely, you know, right now, because next week I'm gonna start showing stuff. Right? It's Fashion Week. I'm gonna start showing stuff. But it's like, I ain't gonna reveal how I'm gonna show it yet. But it's like, where are we now, right? What's appropriate for now, and where are we going?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I want to be a part of that. So, you know, COVID definitely has been, despite all of the negative things that have come about because of it, right? The people dying, different things like that. There has been a lot of positives for people.
Yes. Yes.
People have started new businesses. They've started new hobbies. They've started new things that are the future.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Are of where we're going. And for anyone that says suits are dead because people aren't going to the office anymore and all that stuff, I'm sorry, but you're wrong, right?
Yes,
because
yes.
people still love, women love the way a man looks in the suit. Guys love the way that they look. You just stand out, and you just are treated different.
That's right.
You know, you're treated like someone important. So that is something that is not going away anytime soon.
And I agree with that, and mostly because, or partially because, of social media.
Right.
Because people love to look good on the gram.
Right, they do. They do. And if you told me 4 years ago that I would be in my living room making videos for Instagram and Facebook and getting people to pay me for a product, I would have probably looked at you like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good where, you know, like, I'm good with this career, you know, I'm doing good, you know, life is good. So you just never know where, you know, life will take you. But what I always used to tell people when they would say, what are you doing here? You seem like you should be doing something in fashion. It seems like you should be doing something else. But at the time, my mindset was not entrepreneurial.
Right.
It was like, well, what company would I work for?
Yeah.
And what would I do in that company? I'm not gonna, you know, I didn't say, you know, well, I would work for myself. You know, it wasn't until, you know, I started doing the codes and I realized that there was a gap in the market for what I was selling, that I said, you know what, let me see where I could take this thing.
Right.
Because even though, you know, when you say you work for JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley or whatever, there's a prestige.
Absolutely.
And people,
Absolutely.
oh, wow.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And, but with that, I was just like, no one's ever gonna know I was here.
That's true.
Ever.
That's true.
It doesn't matter how many presentations, it doesn't matter if I present it to the CEO. No one is ever, and if I leave today, I'll be replaced 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I have no legacy here.
Yes.
You know? And I was just like, I want to leave my mark on history.
Right.
With something that was my own human capital, my own ideas, my own way of doing it. You know, I'm very thankful for that experience because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that.
That's right.
You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? And that helped me to get here. But where I am today and doing what I'm doing today is for me. And it has a real world impact.
It really does.
You know?
It really
it's
does.
not like just like doing these reports and these presentations for the company, right? It's real impact, impacting real people, whether it's people that say, he's inspired me, I want to do that, right? Or he's inspired me to do a business, period.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, like, so that is, you know, the way I think about it now is like, what is the legacy that I'm leaving behind? What is the mark and what is my contribution to the world other than making someone else money.
Exactly. So I just want to segue a little bit to one of your other ventures.
Yep.
And because since Instagram is so visual driven,
Right.
and you're a real handsome guy. Your
Right.
face is, people say, God, this guy's got a nice beard.
Right.
His skin is really nice. So I want to segue into one of your other businesses.
Yes. So this will be the second time it's heard, right? Because the first time I kind of just mentioned that it was coming, but now it's here. One thing that I've always done was I always say you can't look good on the outside if you don't take care of the inside. Right. Like, and then two, you can't have on $1,000 suit and your skin and everything else, hair and whatever else is not looking good. And when I first started doing the videos, comments from women and men. What do you use? What do you use on your skin? What do you use on, how do you do the beard? People will come to me and tell me stories about, things that had happened in their life, and ask for my advice on kind of what they could do to kind of get their skin together. And, I started making videos on it, and I was like, wait a minute. People really taken to this. So I said it only makes sense as a part of lifestyle, right? Because I do sell lifestyle, to add an element of personal care. So my next thing is Welthe Skin, right? So face wash, face scrub, face moisturizer, under eye cream, right? But doing it in a way that it makes more men comfortable to use these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And more men, because things have changed a lot. Because even 10 years ago, if you were trying to sell skincare products to men, unless it was some type of S curl or something.
No, absolutely.
What I'm
absolutely.
saying? They'd be like, I'm not messing with that. That's women's stuff.
Right.
But times are changing, and skincare is not. It's a people thing.
That's right.
It's a people thing. And there's nothing wrong with taking care of it. You should.
That's right.
So to have my own products that on the products say, Welthe Skin is something that I've not thought that I would see.
Right.
But we live in a time where there are so many things that are accessible to us now. I'm really looking forward to launching this, and the piece of it that I'm really looking forward to is how that,
exactly.
Like, people expect a certain way of doing things when I do, when I do it. So that is going to be the interesting part of of launching it. And I'm just gonna see where it goes. It's gonna be a complement to everything, everything else. But from where I started until the point that I am today, right? Like, cause I just started with the coats,
right?
To adding in the suits and the shirts, to now adding in the shoes, and now adding in the skincare. Last year, most of the suits, I paired them with turtlenecks. The biggest question that I got last year, where can I get the,
right?
Can I get the? So I'm like, I have to introduce turtlenecks, because I know that if I pair turtlenecks with the outfits, people are gonna ask, why send them somewhere else?
Exactly.
Why send them somewhere else? They can get everything pretty much where it makes sense from me. So it's so many things that are happening that are new, and then also more the same. I'll talk about this really quickly. I'm moving away from the fur.
Really?
Yes, and that's where I started. All right, so again, right, I'm always thinking about process, and that the fur is an extra piece of the process, right, and even during the I mean, of course they were closed during the pandemic, but even when it was time to open back up, they weren't even the first to open, and then it was just a lot. And then there are much more people who want coats without fur than do.
Exactly.
Fur is a very specific, very niche. Very niche, and don't get me wrong. There's people that buy it.
Most definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that buy it, but there's much more men that just want a top coat, overcoat, without the pomp and circumstance of the
collar, things like
the fur.
Right.
So that'll be a surprise to people. Is that I'll be moving away from that. I'll still do it. And I'll still have kind of like my basic models that people always order, black on black, navy on brown. I'll have those. But in terms of me showing new coats with fur, you're not gonna see it this time.
Right.
So it has me excited, but also nervous. Right, because that's what people know me from in terms of starting the business. He's the guy that makes the coats with the fur collar, So now that the fur gonna be gone, and the focus is more so on the suiting and just the top coats without the fur. I want to see how it's gonna go.
Right. So let me ask you finally, what do you think the commerce marketplace is going to look like going forward in terms of where people are going to buy their goods and services? Tell me about what you think that landscape is going to look like.
Online. Supermarkets will turn into warehouses, right? Where you place your order, they pick out your fruits and vegetables and meat and then deliver it to your door. Same thing with clothes. I mean, clothes have already been moving heavily online. It's rare that I go into stores to buy things. So I definitely think that things will become, it'll be more e-commerce based. But there will still be that appreciation for the people who go the extra step to provide that service to make you feel like you're not just a sale.
Right.
That not just a number or no name, no face at all. So I think that the services that are, and even if it's not face-to-face physically, right, virtually, those services will continue to thrive, right, like a custom clothing business.
Yes.
And even if, like they said, people don't go, don't have to go back to the office until 2021 and 2022. There's still people getting married. There's still people going to parties. There's still people throwing their own parties. There's still people that want something special.
Right. So, Robin, how can people reach you?
People can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all at The Welthe Guy. So that's TheWeltheGuy. And then also email info@weltheguy.com. And I'm trying to think, where else am I? My website, welthelifestyle.com. But yeah, but if you
spell Welthe.
Yep, it's WELTHE. So it's the phonetic of WEALTHY. So I wanted to, something to be a little bit different. It took some time to stick, but now it is there. But that's, across those platforms at The Welthe Guy and on YouTube. At The Welthe Guy. It's all spelled the same. TheWeltheGuy.
Robert, it was so good to talk with you today, my brother. And the biggest takeaway for me today is how you were able to incorporate your knowledge of finance, your knowledge of logistics, your knowledge, your analytical knowledge, your wherever you got this sales knowledge from, I don't know.
I think I was born with it.
You got that sales knowledge. You are forward thinking. You utilize social media in an incredible way, man. Thank you so very much for your time. I'm so impressed. And I can rest well knowing that the rag trade and the clothing business is in good hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for this. This is your legacy. This is mine, right? This interview is going to be around long after we're both gone.
Well, thank you so very much.
You.
And I really look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yes, sir.